You're watching PEGRI TV, Rhode Island's public access channel.
Welcome everybody to the Four Corners, brought to you by the Official Wrestling Museum. We are your hosts. I am Angel, and I'm joined by the Official Wrestling Museum's Hall of Famer,
Low Life.
and we are back this week once again.
Throwing something into the corner.
Bob, boom, and take that hard buckle. And this week we're talking about something pretty cool. Make sure you guys check out the QR code. This week here, we're going into, June 13th, depending on the day this is particularly airing. And it's a very special day in Rhode Island. It's Professional Wrestling Day, the first anniversary to honor.
You know what? I'm the way my son is, I'm gonna make it a special day. You know what I mean?
It is something special because, we released up our boots. It was because people before us laced up their boots and people before them. And it's not just the wrestlers, it's managers. It's not just them, it's referees, not just them, it's the camera crew, the ring crew. It's a collaboration of so much and what they've also done, not just on show, but it's also what they've done by traveling, sacrifices away from their families.
Yeah.
All that stuff takes in a toll on a person.
Right.
This is just a way
it's
to
not
say
just the wrestler.
thank you.
It's the wrestling business as a whole. Like a quick anecdote about that is me and Stryker had just recently got invited to the AEW Dynamite tapings in Worcester. Worcester. When you go to so many towns, you can't remember.
Yep.
It was in Worcester, and our seats where we were. I'm not sure the technological term. It's the camera that they have on a crane, maybe the crane cam. Anyway,
Now you're gonna.
There's people
the
that are
arm
going,
cam,
this
I
is one
think.
stupid. Anyway,
I think it's the arm cam.
I spent more time watching that than the show. And where you talk about it's not just the wrestlers, that was so interesting to me to watch this guy, because I'm sitting there watching this guy, and I'm like, man, I know what job I want to do. Because I'm watching him, and he's swinging the camera, and they have the little screen in front so I can see what he's recording. And I'm like, that's so cool, because I was like, I'm not sure if he's being told what to. He did it the entire time.
Yep.
Now, they would only cut to that shot every so often, but he was doing it even if they weren't, he's rolling it, filming it. And I'm like, man, that's so cool, because visually, I know, when we do our stuff, like you're videotaping for someone,
Yep.
I have in my mind, I want to do this, or I want to do that, and just to have that freedom of a guy who's like rolling it, like I wanted to, it's just awesome to see.
Yeah.
So when you brought up that it's not just about wrestlers, it's true.
Yeah, it's really a great thing. And we're still trying to make this, guys, a national day. So please, that QR code, if you can scan it, pass the word around too for your family, friends to do it. More people we have for the petition, the more we can get to other politicians to get a sign in their states. Totally free to do. Takes only about 10 seconds to do.
It was also kind of cool that you said it's not just wrestlers, it's not just that. Because this week, what we're throwing into the corners isn't just wrestling.
No, it's not.
Celebrity involvement.
Yep.
Again, as we state every episode, not every episode is best and worst. There's a few that we make specific, but this is just, another one that could be an ongoing series too.
It could be. There's been a bunch.
Yeah, I mean, just a celebrity you want to talk about. Some of them were hits, some of them were misses. For me, I think one of my favorites was Bob Uecker. I think Bob Uecker was my favorite celebrity involvement. Like WrestleMania 3 and 4.
In the back, yep.
They tied him up with Jesse Ventura, with I think it was Coors Light. Was it Bud Light or Coors Light commercials? One or the other. So it went beyond wrestling. They did more business together. But Bob Uecker was one of those celebrities that came in, and he didn't treat wrestling like it was a joke. You could tell he was having fun.
Yeah.
And he was doing the interviews, like, who doesn't remember? He's sitting there talking, and Andre's got his arm on him. And he's like, oh, you want to get your foot off my shoulder? Or the iconic when Andre's choking him, and he's like, ah. You know, like.
And that's, you're right, though. He treated it
he embraced
like
it.
something.
Yeah.
Instead of just, I'm a celebrity, I really don't care what this product is.
Right.
And that still happens today with some people. I remember WWE had, I don't remember the fighter from UFC, right when they did the merger behind, and the guy grabbed the mic, and he's all talk. And it's like, buddy, you know, you're not there to promote yourself. Yeah, they're going to show you and give you props, but like, you're there to sell the brand that you're there for, and that's wrestling. You know, so that's a really good point that you brought him up and stuff.
He did a memorable interview with Demolition. He also did a memorable thing with, he was searching for Vanna White the whole WrestleMania.
Yes.
And he had, in WrestleMania, I can't repeat the line because of the television we're on, but WrestleMania 3, he had a line involving in the match. You'd have to go back and watch it. In fact, they might have cut it out of the network. It was during the King Kong Bundy and midgets versus Hillbilly Jim and the midgets, and he had a line in there that I can't repeat it, but it had me dying. So Bob Uecker, definitely one of the greats.
So
Hall of Famer in WWE too.
Yeah.
So.
I'm gonna go with another Bob Barker.
Bob Barker was also another great one.
I think he was really, really good where he was there. I absolutely loved that they ended up doing The Price is Right with his interacting with Chris Jericho. I think that was a perfect mix together. And Bob was just, he always knew how to work with the crowd.
Yeah.
And if you ever watch Price is Right, which I think everybody did.
Who didn't skip school some days?
Yeah,
you know?
that's that. When you were sick, you watched Price is Right and you had chicken noodle soup. He seemed to have gotten better as he aged with it. And when he came to WWE, it's like he knew what his role was supposed to be and what he was supposed to do. And again, he wanted to help the brand instead of hurting the brand.
And that was at a time, wasn't that during the guest GM phase? And
he was
every week they were having the celebrities.
Yep, he was on a couple of times, but that was his main.
That was a time where they were bringing in a celebrity every week.
Yeah.
So we had 1 million people to pick from.
Definitely.
But that was definitely a time where it was hit or miss because some of those people bombed.
Yeah.
And there was a few that really hit a home run. And I think, man, it's like, I know, again, we're only going with 4. So that's what makes it tough.
This is going to be tough.
Yeah. A guy who
I think this is, not to cut you off, if we continue this, like we want to do with certain ones, like not right away, but down the line, like we said.
It's fun to revisit.
This is something that's going to be maybe become a little easier.
Yeah.
Because you got a lot of the weight of, okay, this is the guy, this is the guy, this is the guy that's coming to my mind.
I think after you do about 3 episodes or 4, then you're probably done. Like that's what you really. So for me, I wasn't even going into this. He wasn't a thought. Not that I don't think he was great, because obviously I'm going to pick him now. But as we talked about, some of those people at the time were hits and misses. You know what it really is. The ones that are hits are the ones that truly embrace and have fun.
Yeah.
And they're not too serious about it. And I think Kevin Federline, who, I mean, if you want to talk about a celebrity, was he a celebrity? He was a celebrity just because he was with Britney Spears. Other than that, no. But the interaction,
because he's a celebrity.
yeah, because of who he got. But the interaction with Cena and John Morrison, and they ended up having like a match or even 2 matches on Raw, was perfect. I think it went great. You know, I really think that for Kevin Federline, they probably overexceeded what they thought it would have been. You know, I think he was great.
That wasn't a bad one at all. I'm gonna go with. I know he wrestled in a match, which is some of these guys did.
It's a celebrity.
You know what I mean?
So,
some of them did.
Well, Federline wrestled too, so it doesn't just have to be making an appearance.
Right.
It's just a celebrity involvement.
I'm going to go with Jay Leno.
With WCW?
with WCW.
Okay.
And
He was there quite a bit.
he was there.
This one could be a little, not
It's-
controversial, but
it is because it is controversial because I think what he did for his roles of what he was playing with WCW on his talk show
Right.
was phenomenal.
Yeah,
and
he
very
was able
helpful.
to bring
what
them
he was
on the
able
show.
to do to
Yeah.
WCW. It was really a ball dropper, and it could just be how WCW allowed him to be too.
I think with him and having his match in WCW and how you said the ball was dropped, I think because of where they did it. It was at the Road Wild, the Sturgis.
Yeah.
So you're talking about with all the bikers. They're not there for a wrestling show. They're there and there's a wrestling show there. They didn't go there for the wrestling show. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like they went there for the bike rally, and there just so happened to be a wrestling show there. It's not the other way around.
Right,
And I think
right.
had they done like, I'm not. Was he film out of New York? Probably his show.
I think his is. I think his is
Or
New York.
Chicago. I'm sorry, I don't watch.
I think his
never-
was. I think his is New York. I don't
Okay.
think it's.
Had they done
California.
a show maybe in New York, or I know they tended not to because that was WWF territory, but they did go there. But I think had they done that somewhere else in maybe even LA.
Even
I
if
think
it-
LA would have been better had they done it maybe at like the Cow Palace or something. I know Cow Palace is in LA, but had they done it in an actual for an actual WCW show as opposed to at the
Yeah.
Sturgis, it would have been better. I don't think the ball would have been dropped as it was for that.
Yeah.
But
I agree with
But
that.
like you said, it wasn't just him getting to put his name out there. He had them on every week on his show. Hogan was out there once. Hogan
Yep.
and Bischoff took over. I think took over for one night or a couple segments.
Yep.
DDP was out there. So yeah, Jay Leno's not a bad choice. Would I have put him in a match? No, but again, if you have that opportunity,
Right.
do you not take it? You know, so
Yep.
you can't blame him. So it's funny because going in, I had like 2 or 3 people, and I've since like, let me put that one. on the
Yeah,
back
exactly.
burner.
That's what's happening in my mind right now. It's like, oh,
WCW was very good with a lot of the celebrities that they used. You said Jay Leno, and obviously I'm like, well, let's stick with WCW, and I'm going to group them together with Malone and Dennis Rodman.
The B-balls.
Rodman on his own, when he came in with NWO, was so big. I mean, number one, he's Dennis Rodman. He's one of the biggest names in basketball. One of my favorite players. I'm not into just the guys that score. Rodman, to me, he was so unselfish as a player. All he wanted to do was grab the rebounds, grab the boards. A lot of people look at him with his hair and his attitude, always a punk. This dude played with more heart than
Yeah.
most people in basketball. I think he's one of the best players of all time, and that's not talking about his offense, defensively. Anyway, they bring him into NWO, and it's like Dennis Rodman, the Worm, one of the biggest names in basketball. And here this guy is skipping practice for the NBA championship and showing up at WCW
Yeah.
Nitro. And for him to be in the NWO was perfect.
yeah, he
you know?
needed to be in the NWO.
And then so that was like the first phase of it. And then they had him do matches, and I remember the first match, was it him and Hogan versus Giant and Luger at Bash at the Beach?
I think it
Or
was.
something, yeah. And I remember thinking it wasn't too bad. I know down the line he had quite a few, like 3 or 4 matches, and they ended up really becoming bad.
Yeah.
But at first it seemed like his heart was in it, like he wanted to have a good time. And then they brought in Malone, and I really think Malone, with the way his attitude was like, I'm all in on this. Like, I'm going to enjoy this. He did the thing with DDP against Hogan and Rodman. Hogan and Rodman. And I think Malone just threw himself into it. And WCW was so lucky. That year, Malone was on the Jazz against the Bulls and Rodman for the
Yeah.
NBA championship. So here they are having a pay-per-view
Yeah,
at the
that-
same time playing
They
for
were
the
doing-
NBA championship.
Yeah, that worked really good in their
Yeah.
favor. I think Carl definitely jumped right in, like you said, 110%. I think Dennis Rodman, his wrestling abilities weren't the best.
Right.
But he definitely brought so much to the table, and I think it's something that NWO needed.
Yeah.
With that
It
time.
added that,
and that
mainstream.
flair. Right. Another good thing with Dennis Rodman, it opened the door for marketing.
Yeah.
Because it was first time WCW released figures in another series. It was like for Hot Topics, it was him and Hulk Hogan.
I remember when those figures were coming out, and I remember I was with Stryker, and we were with 2 other friends, and we drove like 40 minutes to a Toys R Us. That I was like, I know that they said they're releasing them today. We went there, they weren't released. I'm asking the girl at the desk, hey, do you have the Hulk Hogan Dennis Rodman figures? And she was like, huh?
What are you
And I'm
talking
like,
about?
It's like, we drove 45 minutes. You guys don't have them? I never got that Rodman. So,
No? See, I picked them up at Hot Topics.
Yeah.
That's where I got
And
them.
they
Now,
did a couple releases of them.
They
but
did
I never
different
got
colored
any of
hairs
them.
and stuff. Now, I will say this, you talked about Dennis Rodman being a really good guy and people have things to say. It's been said that every time he came to Boston,
Yeah.
he would buy out Toys R Us completely
Yeah.
and donate it to the Boston
And the thing
Children's
is, you
Hospital.
never knew that. And that
You never
to me,
knew that. And that,
yeah.
you know what I mean? Like that.
That to me makes it
how
better.
How can you say
Right.
something negative about him?
And I'm sure he probably did that in multiple places.
Oh, probably.
And that to me makes it better because charity is not. I mean, and don't get me wrong. I know John Cena's not the one saying, "Hey, look, I've done a million wishes."
Right.
He's not the one saying it. I know the company says it, and I know that as a company, you want to put that out there because you want to let people know, look at these great things you do. But the fact that Cena has done something like that and not, to number one to do something like that, and then the emotions he must feel for that. I know people are like, oh, big deal. He does that for publicity. No, he doesn't because he doesn't talk about it.
No, he
and
doesn't.
to be with these kids that you know probably in 2 weeks might not be here, that has to take a toll on you emotionally.
Yeah, you
And-
hear some stories
yeah.
of these workers and stuff, grand, and it's
Right.
not just wrestlers.
I mean,
too,
look at
just-
Connor's Cure, how that
Yeah.
came about,
Yep.
And going back, not to go off topic, but Rodman doing that, I had heard that story too. And it's like, you didn't hear it in the days of it happening.
No.
You heard it way later. And that's the stuff that you look at or hear and you're like, it touches your heart,
Yep.
That's what, going back to your QR code, that's what, Wrestling Day is all about. Stuff like that gets welcomed into this,
Absolutely.
But go on another celebrity.
So
yeah.
I'm going to throw a celebrity because
Have we done 2 weeks now?
so
three?
you've done 3 with a sidekick, and I've done 2.
Okay, who are my 3 so far?
So you have the Bob guy, Kevin guy, Ramen guy with Carl on the side.
all right.
I don't know why I was doing that with my
So I
hand.
got 3, you got 2?
Yeah.
All right.
I'm going to go with Snooki.
Yeah,
Okay.
she had a memorable appearance.
She definitely had a memorable appearance. Mania, right? She had a play. I always loved Robbie E. and Cookie.
Yeah, in TNA.
TNA. I thought they played the characters fantastically. When they got to do live events, was unbelievable what they did with their characters. I've always said from way back then to today, their live events back then should have been on TV, and their TV should have been at live events just because it was so flip-flop. They definitely would have been a huge competition to WWE at that time. I just felt like her coming in, I probably would have wanted to see the Robbie E. Cookie, and it was like, well, are you just trying to play off and trying to figure out stuff? I don't know.
It almost felt like to me at that time, TNA, they were doing good with their characters. Then WWF brings in Snooki, and it almost to me at that time was like, we're gonna kill that and bring in the real person,
Right.
Because they had the means to, they had the money that they could.
The thing is, if that was the truth, you're going after Robbie E. and Cookie.
I don't think necessarily
the
they did
two
it, yeah.
lower people of what they present
Yeah.
on TV.
I don't think
nothing
necessarily
against
that they,
their ability.
Yeah, I don't think necessarily they did it specifically to kill them. I think they got the opportunity, bringing Snooki. Remember, TNA really wasn't really truly on WWF's radar too much.
No.
But I don't think they said, you know what, let's kill this off, bring in Snooki. I think they had the opportunity to bring in Snooki. To them, it didn't matter that they're doing that character. We're going to do it anyway. If it kills your character, it kills your character. They don't, you know what I mean?
Maybe, yeah.
But I also heard, I can't remember who it was. I think it might have been Honky Tonk Man, who said, I heard him get asked about Snooki, and he's like, oh man. He's like, if you're a woman on the roster, how do you feel? She just came in and hit a home run, and you now have to live up to that. I know the big thing was she came in and did the cartwheel, right?
Yeah.
And that was the big thing, but it's still, to be a celebrity and come in and do something like that, it stands out because
Right.
It's funny. Everyone wants to sit there and say wrestling's fake, 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 fake. But when a celebrity comes in and does something like that,
They're like, oh my God.
Then it's like, oh my God. But it's like, yeah, but all this time it's fake. But now because a celebrity can do it,
It's something fantastic. And another thing too is when these celebrities come in and they're doing these moves and they're like, oh my God. Well, they're being trained to do
Yeah.
that one move or that two moves where, somebody like say you might do the move 15 times in a month because you have 15 different shows. And it's like, all right, what's the deal? I see, you know what I mean? So it definitely plays a factor. My last pick.
but I still have one too, right? So does mine count?
Oh, yeah, no, yeah,
No,
it's
but
you.
you can go.
No.
No,
You can go.
I was going to say, do
Yeah,
you
not
want
my
to pick
fault.
your, I wanted to make sure I
Yeah.
got the pick still a fourth. But I want you
Okay.
to go ahead and pick yours.
All right,
Because
so-
I'm bouncing a couple around.
So mine's been bounced around a lot in my head, and I think there's something that really should be tossed on this show. I'm gonna go with somebody that's probably never gonna be mentioned on this theme of a show.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
Because
but because why? Because their celebrity status is low, or?
no, well, yeah, kind of, sorta.
Don't tell me it's the Muppets from when they guest hosted the Raw.
Oh, I didn't think of them. Oh my God, I want to toss them in now. I forget who I'm saying, but it's close by name wise.
Pee-wee?
No, not Pee Wee. I'm gonna go with The Miz.
Okay.
But when he was first
Well-
came in as a celebrity, okay, he really didn't know what he was doing. He really, I don't want to say it was a joke in the ring, but was because he was worried about putting himself over. He wasn't worried about telling the stories. He wasn't worried about keeping people safe. He really needed to learn the business. And they're like, kid, get out.
Yeah.
And they shipped him away. And when he came back, he was 100% a different person. And he's definitely that gimmick name of an A-lister is true to who he is all the way. He's earned where he's at today. But if it wasn't for that celebrity part,
Right.
would we have ever seen The Miz?
So I think the term celebrity has changed over the past decade to two, and I think reality stars, if they counted as celebrities now. You
Yeah.
know, and I think if I'm correct, I can't remember what, but last week on one of the shows, and one of the things Danger Boy brought up, The Miz is someone for something, and we agreed. Like,
Yeah.
no, you might not think of him, but he's been there forever. And so he started off on the reality show, and then like he's been there forever. He's done everything 2 times over.
Yeah.
If you think about it.
And I think he'll be another, I think I mentioned on one of the shows we did recently too, about somebody being, X-Pac, in the last Four Corner show, that he'll be a good coach. I think Miz would
I
be
think-
another good coach when his time is
think
up because
yeah.
how he had to come from one
His style,
world
I think that-
and
yeah.
changed completely.
I think the knock against The Miz for a long time was he's the safe wrestler. Like, no, you're not going to see him go diving off the top doing this. He's very smart with his body. He's
Yeah.
never really been out injured.
No, I
if
think
he
had
has, nothing
an
major.
injury.
Yeah.
And it wasn't nothing major. I
mean,
I
guy-
don't even know if it was a legit injury. It
Yeah.
could have been a work.
I mean, and another thing too, maybe they took him off for a while, yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much always been a heel. He's a babyface now, definitely a much better heel, but he can work as the face. When he had his program with Shane McMahon and he was
Yeah.
babyface, that worked really well. Got himself a nice wife getting in that company too, so it worked out for him. But see, this is why I wanted you to go because I had a couple names in my head.
Now,
One
were you
that I-
thinking him?
No.
No,
I
okay.
wasn't thinking him, but similar to that pick. This is one guy I'm like, I definitely want to talk about. But then I'm like, if we're going to go multiple episodes, let me save him.
Yep.
Because there was someone else I want to, but I'm going to save that guy now. And I'm going to go with, based on your pick, where you said, everyone's always going to think of him as the wrestler. I'm going to say current guy, Logan Paul. Because
Okay.
celebrity, he was a celebrity in the sense of he was
Yeah,
a
he
YouTube
was.
star. Again, the celebrity role
It's
has
really
changed.
changing these days.
And Logan Paul now, no, you're not probably going to see him wrestle on Monday Night Raw, but what's that tell? But he'll wrestle at pay-per-views.
Yep.
And at first it was just WrestleMania, SummerSlam. Now it's almost pay-per-view, every
Yep.
pay-per-view. And what's that tell you? Not that, in a way, he's becoming more normalized, but also he's too big to wrestle every week on TV. You got to save him for the
You're
bigger
right.
shows. And let's face it, I mean, as a celebrity, he's probably the best wrestler they've ever had that was not just officially originally a wrestler.
Agree. I would agree. He's really stepped up, and he's really truly
Just as
impressive of what he's
just
able
as a
to do.
wrestler, he's good. But if you want to say a celebrity wrestler, it's hard to pick better. But yeah,
Right.
so for me,
And-
Logan Paul.
And that's good because you know what? Throughout the years, like you said, celebrities have changed.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the 15th, 16th, you have RI Anime Con, the official wrestling
Right.
museum will be there. Come on by, get your pictures taken. You know, have a good time with us.
Well, look
But
at.
those are celebrities.
Yeah.
You know what I
Look,
mean? Like
these-
there's so many different
I'm
levels.
pretty sure I'm safe to think that these couple I'm going to mention are not going to make the list. But when you're talking about how the role of celebrity has changed, WrestleMania 2, when they had the list of celebrities,
Yeah.
Herb, the guy who danced in the Burger King commercial, and the Wendy's lady who said, "Where's the beef?" Those were considered celebrities. So, I mean, do those top Logan Paul? You know what I
No,
mean? Come on.
by any
So
means.
yeah, the role has definitely changed. It's funny, we've picked a couple older ones, we've picked a couple
Yeah,
newer
we
ones.
did. This was pretty cool.
Yeah,
You know?
I think this series is good to go for maybe
yeah.
like 4 episodes or so. But now if we
Now,
had to,
if we got to pick.
yeah,
You know what? I'm gonna say Logan Paul's got to be one.
yeah, I think he has
He
to.
has to be because he really came in and he's really doing a good job with his wrestling ability, not just marketing himself.
I like Bob Uecker as a pick. I think
Yeah.
they
Yep.
used him more than once. They brought him back the next year, so that shows you he worked so well the year
Right.
before.
If you could sit here and picture people in your mind right away,
Yeah.
you know they're on top.
I think
This is tough out of this list.
I want to say maybe Rodman. Like
I would say Rodman, but not with Carl on.
you could do Rodman just alone. No,
Yeah.
I just wanted to throw
Yeah.
Carl in.
I'll say Dennis Rodman
Okay.
on his own, not
That's
with
fine.
him. Okay.
Because they did bring him back a handful of times.
True.
It's that fourth one, and
And this
out
is-
of all that
this is
list,
tough,
I
too.
kind of want to say Miz based on what I would have, like you said, I would have never thought of him.
Yeah.
But the longevity of him, if he is considered that celebrity from a reality show, I mean, look what he's done. You know,
Let's think about this though. Maybe, just maybe, Logan Paul is the new Miz. Because
Yeah,
if you
well, that's
kinda
why I
think
switched
about
to that
He
pick.
hasn't been sent away.
Right.
All right, let's toss Miz in.
I would
He's
throw
awesome.
in Miz, yeah,
You know, anybody that can rock with a 60-time champion
or Mary Maurice.
is a win in our book. So we have a pretty good pick. You want to read off the 4?
Yeah, so we got Logan Paul,
Uno.
yeah, the Worm, Dennis Rodman,
Those.
the Miz,
3.
because he's awesome. And then the fourth one was, I can't read your pick, and I can't remember, was it, Bob Uecker, Mr.
Yeah.
Mr. Baseball.
My handwriting is not the best, folks. So that's our 4. If you
Want to
like
get your
them,
foot off my shoulder?
right? If you like our 4, let us know. If you have 4 that you want to send in, even though we plan on doing this, send them in to us.
Yeah.
We'll love to read them off, and we do actually have some being sent in to us. So in coming episodes, we're going to start reading off, okay, we have had so-and-so send in about this particular one and stuff. So we will be starting to read those off soon, guys.
Yeah.
Make sure you guys check out that QR code. Happy Professional Wrestling Day here in Rhode Island. Happy Father's Day to all the fathers that are out there. All right, Amazon. All right. Oh, man, no, I got that stuck in my head. Help me out here. Anime Con. There we go. It's happening. Come on out to that if you see us. And make sure you take a Smile Up Challenge. Spread more smiles than hate in the world. We're going to be doing that at that con, so make sure you guys check in. We'll be folks in here.
Maybe you'll see Dan Chain this year. Oh, you mean Dean Cain? You know who we won't see? Who's this guy here? Oh, the guy that played Apollo Creed? You won't be seeing him this year.
I know, unfortunately, he had the opportunity to take a Smile Up Challenge, and we did talk. He loves the idea of it and everything. Rest his soul. But yeah, anyway, make sure you check out the official Wrestling Museum for all your wrestling needs. And you know what they say.
What show did we just...
Come back next
Come
week.
next week when we find out what's in the corners.
Thank you, guys. Take
All
care.
right.